All righty. Hey, it is Monday and this is Power Hour. Glad you guys could join us. And hello to all those of you who might be watching the recording today. And we're excited today because Ming Lovejoy is going to talk to us about how she's using Facebook and how she's using groups in Facebook to communicate and get to know people. You know, as you all probably still know, we're kind of somewhat in a lockdown, most of us. And so we're not getting out like we used to. So Ming has found ways to use social media to find people to talk to about GIA. And so Ming, I'm just going to turn it over to you and tell us what you're doing. We'll probably have questions and
Well, thank you, John. I'm super excited. And really, I think some of you know, and I think some of you out there have been doing some of the same things that Sue Gronberg and I were doing for quite a few years, very successfully. And that was maybe going to conferences or attending health and wellness expos, things like that. Well, one of those things is that a lot of those events, we've had I call it the COVID pivot. We, as entrepreneurs and business owners, and as the CEO of the Chief Enthusiasm Officer of our own GIA businesses, really have had to sort of make some of those pivots as well. And so what I will just say is even kind of where I started is with, and I want to share some ideas for everyone as well. But where I started was with some of those organizations and those events going online, there are still opportunities to participate. So that's something is if you've participated in the past in maybe a health and wellness expo or the home and garden show or whatever you've done, whether it's in your area or out of your area, definitely pursue those connections to find out if those events have gone online. The cool thing about that is that you may already be a presence that is recognized. And so that's always a good thing, that there's already some know, like, and trust factor. So I will just share a little story about what I did and what's happening for me as a result of it, mostly because I just want you to know what I'm doing, not because I expect you to necessarily sign up for other coachings from other companies and things like that. So that's why I want to give a little caveat to this is that I think the coaching that GIA Wellness offers and that John's doing in the Power Hour is extraordinary. And so I'm not really making recommendations that you spend money outside. That said, I have on some coaching and things like that in certain areas, just because, first of all, I was able to afford it and invest in my business in that way. And they were things that I did that have also brought me into new networks of people. So I'm going to share a little bit about that meandering. And then what I want to do is talk a little bit about really some good ways to find online networking. So what I'll share, I have actually participated with, I don't know if you know, but oh my goodness, hold on one second. I do have to take this from my husband.
hello, everybody.
Howdy.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So what I did was I actually started to participate. And for example, Debbie Hoffman has a sort of a networking, a group. She has this with her consultants, people that she works with. And she's opened it up. She's actually created an online networking group. And what I want to do is get that. I can maybe post that link in GIA Mission 2020, but what I'm going to post right now this is actually, and I think it's a link, I'd love somebody to just try it. But for example, she's actually going to be speaking on sort of follow-up tips and ways to network more successfully. And what this might do is lead you to a group where you can, whether it's pay $20 for a booth or whatever that is, but you'll also definitely pick up some great tips. So what I wanted to say is this is actually Debbie Hoffman speaking at another leader or another business entrepreneur's event. And so I don't know, I think I'm going to attend this if I can, but I just wanted to let you know that what I do is I kind of follow these little leads. And so one of the things I do is attend a networking group that Debbie Hoffman has twice a month. And I do pay. It's $20 and it's $35 for a booth. If somebody wants to do that, there are other events like this online. And from that group, and I go there consistently twice a month, I've actually, built relationships and sponsored from groups like that. Another thing I've done is I actually have been working with a coach, and if anybody does any kind of is work in any kind of group, people are hearing your message. So I started, in this coaching, which was also, it was for visibility, because I really needed to overcome my mortal terror around doing Facebook Lives and really appearing on camera, and also gaining some confidence around writing scripts about my, what I want to do, or, about what I'm going to talk about, and even understanding how to, create small bite-sized pieces of valuable information that could help me online build credibility, visibility, and, basically be a way of generating leads, in the other groups that I'm in. And what happened was people started being interested. So I've kind of been, I won't say flooded, but I'm quite busy following up with people who are just listening in those groups to what I'm sharing as my homework. And so that's something that, I would love to share more about what I'm learning, and in Power Hour, I think that would be fabulous. I would love to be able to do that. And maybe share some of that, about some hints and tips I'm learning about doing Facebook Lives and things like that. And then, of course, we've also got some, standout folks like Karen Knott and Tracy Hillis, who's just killing it with those, and John Williams and that too. So those are really some. Through those groups, I am participating in masterminds. So in masterminds, when you work with, a group of people, so maybe there is a, tool online for finding a mastermind group, or even an accountability group. So if there is a group that is simply, maybe a business accountability of people in different areas of business who you meet with or mastermind with in different fields, and they are then going to hear what you talk about and be interested in what you've got. Okay. So that's some of what I've been doing. What I do also recommend for people is really to even Google online business networking. So all of the world is now going online more than ever. And there are a couple events. When I get kind of the full links to them, I can post them also on Mission 2020. I'm actually going to be speaking at 2 events this month. One is a networking group out of the California, San Francisco Bay Area. And that event is, I'm going to be speaking at, but it actually is a networking event. And if you show up and network at that, you will be put in kind of like rooms where you each share what it is you do. And that group specifically is, really about job searching for technology people, like techie folks. And so I'll be speaking about, electromagnetic radiation, about EMF, about exposure to all of our devices. It's a talk called Living Well in the Wireless World, Beat Invisible Stress with Ease. And it'll be a generic talk. It won't even be specifically about GIA. But this is the kind of thing, and I mentioned last week when John invited me to come Monday and talk about this, where there are so many of you on this, right now, who could easily be, and I know Kedsy's already speaking, Sue Gromberg, speaking to groups about this, because you really are an expert. You've become one and you've earned that. It's just a matter of finding your stage and then putting together, your talk, things like that. So I will be posting those links when I have them. Another one is this California Virtual Women's Conference online. and I'll post that link as well. That is something, it is $10 to attend. And it actually is one where I'll have a booth and be sharing Gia. People can come to the booth. This thing is already got me a bit like wowed. I have no idea how they're going to put all this together, and we're going to do little practices and things like that to make sure everything goes well. But all of the speakers are online, all of the booths are online, and they're going to be doing that. So online business networking events, online conferences, look for those, whether, I mean, of course, I've always liked health and wellness. Business is one, because certainly right now people are looking for virtual businesses. The other thing you can do is look for meetup groups in my area. So meetup, groups in, my area or zip code or however they do that. It will actually show you all of these crazy meetups, whether it's quilters or skydivers or, Vespa drivers or whatever, those things, Sue Gromberg, you were just talking about, but people who are doing like fun outings or things like that. The other is Eventbrite in your area. So if you look for Eventbrite in my area or go to Eventbrite, you can search groups in your area. Some of them might be meeting live. That's cool if you can meet live where you are, but other ones are meeting online. And if they're meeting online, that means you show up and you'll get kind of introduced to this amazing online world where now people can actually, if somebody's organizing this group, they actually pair you up or put you in groups for networking, or you might be in a whole Zoom room with everybody and maybe talking about a little bit. This may be an area where you just build relationships around an area of interest you're both interested in, or if it's something like a health conference or a health group, there may be an opportunity for you to share about the uniqueness of what you do and how relevant it is to the wireless world in which we live, where we're all striving and really desiring to live well and be super healthy. The other thing is facebook.com/events all the time in your area or out of your area. So I just really, I am just kind of making my own baby steps right now, have been since the COVID pivot has required it of me. Since I don't get to do the fun, expeditions with Sue Gromberg to these wild and wonderful conferences anymore. But we will be having even more and more of these type of opportunities. So I have a few more minutes before my husband comes home and I got to feed him lunch. But I would love to answer questions. John, do you have questions, or anybody? Or
Can you describe what it's like to be in a networking group online compared to going to a networking group?
I'm saying I'm starting to like it better. I'm just saying. I'm actually starting to like it better. The networking groups, and I've done quite a few of them over the years. I will just say this is maybe what we could say is kind of the new normal. So what I will say I like about it is, first of all, it's organized. The organizer or the leader, there's usually and very often some kind of valuable content, like a speaker who's talking on a topic. Whether it is, and very often it's something that's relevant to you, if it's a networking type group, or, even if it were like biz to biz online, somebody talking about insurance or somebody else talking about, pet care or whatever. But what's cool about it is they're organized. You know exactly how much time you have. And then when you get in a room, you might be in with one other person, in which case you each have maybe 2.5 minutes. You've got maybe 7 minutes total. So you've got, where you've got like 3.5 minutes each, but you literally will share what you have and what you do. And hopefully, what you prepare or what you say leaves a little time for them to lean in, because that's really what you want them to do, is lean in and ask questions. And then, they'll kind of do their thing. What's cool is all of these, since they're done on Zoom, they all utilize the chat feature. And very often people in a networking group, everybody will post their contact stuff in the chat. You can save the chat by going in the bottom right-hand corner and clicking on those 3 dots. So you can save the chat and you'll have other people's information and they'll have yours to contact you. But really what you want is to make those contacts with a person who says, I want to get together with you for a virtual coffee. Or you say, well, let's get together for, a virtual coffee. You're interested in my thing. I'm a little bit interested in yours, whatever it is. And then you can share that information also privately with people when they ask for it. Does that help? So I love the organization of it. I love that there's a good start and stop. What I love is it also requires that I kind of prepare a little better, and I kind of have to be required to prepare because I like to wing it. And so I'll prepare a little 30-second thing, or maybe a 2-minute thing. And I'm happy to share more about that in another time. My husband's home and I want to go eat lunch with him. But yeah, any more questions? I got a few more minutes.
Anybody else?
Yeah, ask away, please.
Yeah, Ming, real quick.
Yeah.
On the rooms, do they just randomly pick who you're going to go with?
Pretty much most of the technology doesn't allow that you are necessarily right now, although that is being changed because this online networking thing is becoming big and they want to have it so you can request somebody. But what I've done when I've done vendor booths, clearly they've been able to put, here's the vendor, and then they invite the people into the vendor booth. So I might have 2 or 3 people listening to my Gia spiel. Does that make sense?
People get to pick the room they want to go to, is what you're saying?
Not always. I think that's coming. I haven't been in one where people yet can pick the room, but I do know that they have. Clearly, there's a way that they're able to say, here's the vendor, and then they put the network attendees who are going to be in that vendor booth. So they're able to put people at least in that person's vendor booth, but I haven't been in one yet where they've been able to say, ooh, I want to talk to Kedzie, or I want to talk to John or Sue or Susan.
One real quick thing.
Yeah.
What you described about the 2 minutes on each side or 3 minutes or whatever, that's like the speed networking, where you're sitting at a table and you keep moving every 5 minutes, you have this many, and then you move, everybody moves. And so one person stays and then 3 people come at a table of 4. I mean, we're literally replicating real life into virtual life, and the best way. And then obviously there's better things about virtual and less better things about not being there physically. But anybody who did, like me, got an A in show and tell in kindergarten, I think it would be really, really great to beef up your show and tell capabilities.
Well, and Kedzie with that, and I would love to do it on Power Hour, is maybe how to develop a good 30-second, what components should be in it, what should be in maybe a 2-minute, because there's really, what do you do, and so, I help people with who are concerned or who have got Zoom fatigue or concerned about all of the magnetic radiation or from their wired and wireless devices, who want to live well and, symptom and worry free, something like that. And I kind of, but that, and, and somebody might say, well, how do you do that? Well, I blah, 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 how do you do that? Or those kinds of things too. So those are things that we can work on with prompts, and maybe we could do homework and come back, and that kind of thing. And that's, that we really want to beef up our speed networking skills so that we are, our message is concise, that we're authentic, and all of our gifts and our skills are communicated.
Sounds like Friday to me.
Okay, John, I love you. Okay, let me try it for Friday. Okay, well, maybe we'll do it, take it down into a bite-sized chunk. I just have to check with that, because let me just say this. I have 2 big speaking gigs. I'm going to be in a little better shape after October 15th. So let me just see. I would love to say tentatively Friday,
Okay.
But I'm having to do some dry runs because this is all new technology, and I've got slides and all that. So that's my only thing. But what I'm going to do is definitely
a dry run with us. That would be good.
Oh, a dry run. Oh, on my talk? No, I wanted to do something. A dry run. You want a dry run on my talk?
Sure.
Yeah.
If I'm ready. Okay, I'm down for it. But right now, this is the beginning of new and wonderful world. So, and I definitely want to share it with everybody. So, okay.
Say hi to your husband.
I will. And then do go on, see what, I think this is Debbie Hoffman, who's going to be doing a talk on on effective networking and things like that. And so you might just click on that. I haven't really checked this one out, but this was the one I just grabbed right before we jumped on.
That's in the
Okay.
chat, right?
Well, it's in the chat. And okay, great. Take care. It's a free event, and that's one way. Go online and look for free events, free master classes in whatever, master class in something you want to learn. Go on and sign up for a free thing, and then you can kind of get into relationship. Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ming.
Bye-bye.
So that was pretty interesting. It's what I was thinking about this whole Zoom. We're having a meeting twice a week, and it doesn't seem unusual, right? We could get together, but I don't know that we get a whole lot more done if we got together in person. And so I could see how these networking groups could work, especially for someone like Susan Kibbe, who loves that stuff. She does. She's so good at it.
John, real quick, while it's fresh in everybody's mind from Ming and the speed networking, one that I was doing was a little unique in that the person who organized it was coaching everyone to take we actually had 5 minutes, which is pretty long. And there were 4 people at each table, and then they would move around and whatnot. So, and there was a bell, and you would stick to it and all that. Oh, they gave you 1 minute before the 5th minute. So they warned you, they gave you a 1 minute warning so you could wrap it up. But the big coaching was to be personal to start with. And I'll tell you, I did it multiple times, and the people that really stuck to that, I have a sort of a photographic memory a little bit, but I can remember those people out of anybody. If I just quickly think back to those various times, those are the people that I remember, the ones that were initially personal. And then they got talking about what they do.
So give us an example of what you mean.
Oh, well, I'll give you the main person. His name is Larry. And, he told about how he was a ski bum and how, his life, like pieces of his life, this kind of up and down and all that, and telling a story basically about his life. And then he wove it into what he does now and how it all kind of evolved and how it happened. Rather than I do this, I give that, I have this, I have that. It's so easy, at least for me, to remember the whole person hearing a part of their life and an interesting part of their life.
And how many minutes does everybody have for those kinds of things?
That particular one, that was 5 total, and there were 4 people at each table.
Susan Friedman, do you do a lot of things online, a lot of classes and things like that?
It seems I'm in front of my computer a lot. Yeah, actually I do. I do classes online and things, yeah.
So do you meet people and become friends with them doing that?
Well, some of the ones that I've done recently have been a larger group, like one of the classes I did is like 1,000 people, but so not necessarily. But there's a couple things that I do that are online, and I'm making connections with people through 2 women's groups that I participate in on a daily basis, connect with, and have shared products with them. Yeah.
That would be an easy invite to 360 group.
Some have already been, yeah.
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 That's pretty cool that you have that ability to find people to relate to better than some of us.
For me, it's that transition of from being personal to going to the business. That's, I'm looking forward to hearing people's talk about it, because I think that's for me. I mean, I have a lot of people in my, I don't know what we call it. I know lots of people. And I mean, I live in a community of 60 people. And it's sharing, so personally is not a problem. It's sharing it, the business or the products. I notice that I need some training and practice.
Yeah, I think it is. I just think it is a little more difficult to do, but it's doable. And now these people you're doing these meetings with, they're on Zoom, right?
Well, it depends. Some are Zoom, and then another we do it on WhatsApp. It's
Okay.
Yeah, but it's video, the television, technology. Right.
Do you ever check to see when you get connected with someone, even from afar, do you ever check to see if they're on Facebook?
No. Well, I asked people.
Great. Her
I've been
picture's
asking
still
more and
up.
more.
Her pictures,
Oh
her
yeah, you're
videos.
gonna get off. I know. Stay on with it. Don't leave.
I'll put my video off. How's
No, please don't. No, this is it. This is
Talk to
it.
someone else. Talk to someone else.
No, no. So the Facebook thing could work though. I mean, so like if you're in a meeting, you connect with someone, you could just go on Facebook and just see if they're there, and then start adding or inviting people to be friends with you on Facebook.
Mhm.
And that one could turn into 12, turn into thousands of people who you're on friends with on Facebook. Does that sound interesting at all?
The
Can I,
interesting thing is that someone just sent me a link to what's this movie, social, something about the challenges, all these leaders in some of the social media.
Social Dilemma is what they call it.
That's the
That's a
one.
great movie.
I just started listening to that, and so as I started listening, I haven't seen it. I just saw the beginning last night. I fell asleep, but I wanted to look at that. And
Don't let it dissuade you from using social media in your business, though.
hey, can I segue into a positive social media moment here?
Like we're not talking positive about it.
Well, I can feel Susan's video, like, wanting to go off when we talk about Facebook.
not so much.
I want to help her. I want to help her
All right.
keep her hand off the button. Anyway, you know that I posted my story about my accident and all that. Okay, so then there was a gal who lives right off of that same road who does walk her mules and other livestock on that road, and she was freaked out, and then, was asking me questions and so forth. So last week, I finally drove the 200-mile round trip, made it, pushed myself to do it, and brought her 2 gallons of water. So I had an extra drive that I told you guys about. Okay, so she's enrolling today. So it turned out that because I ended up posting, I was treating my own page kind of like a 360 by telling my story, right? And then I added a little actual data and information about, the water and the, different things. You've seen my page of the, I hope people who haven't will go there because they'll really understand what I'm talking about. And it wasn't a lot, but she came out and said, what about this water? Well, I finally, all these months later, got her a couple of gallons. That day, I love the water. Okay, next day, this is great. Well, last night we were going back and forth, and she's enrolling today. So I just wanted to kind of chime in that whether it's our page or the actual formal, because on your own, personal page, you don't have to. I mean, they're already there, right? It's not like you're going around having to invite people, and they already know you. So when it's a personal thing that has gone on in your life, it's a great way to, not to say that everybody has to have accidents. I'm just saying, however you want to portray that, however you want to use it in your daily life and language, I just wanted to kind of chime in with that. The other thing is, really quick, I've done a bunch of Operation Hydrations lately. They've just sort of evolved with animals and whatnot. And just at the very end, I have this new sort of plan. But yesterday, I finally went out to the barbecue so I could actually carry my food on the wheelchair and roll it to where I have to go to the barbecue. So I'm standing there. Somebody who I've met that walks by my place that has a little puppy was standing there talking to me, and he was stung by a bee in that moment on his hand. And I happened to have my spray bottle in my little fanny pack because I had my phone and I have my little spray bottle. I'm like, here, where? And then there's that red hole there. I sprayed. Of course, beautiful. No symptoms, whatever. Okay. Well, my new sort of path there, haven't had a pet for a while since mine died a while ago. I mean, dog pet, cat pet, in-home pet. And they have this little puppy, and they invited me to go to the dog park, which is not right around the corner. You have to drive for a little bit. And there are so many people. People don't have any problem. They're distanced and whatnot, but they're outside. It's sunshine. Everybody's focused on the fun dogs. And there's no barrier. It's like kids and dogs. Everybody wants to talk to each other. They don't have to say anything really personal, but it's all about watching the fun, and everybody has sort of they have no barriers. There's very, very little judgment zone at all. So I have a new place to I have an idea about some eye water and how I might approach it. And I might even make new cards focusing on animals and so forth. So just thought I'd throw that out there as a new physical way, if you want to do that. Not all online. I don't want to be all one way in my life. I really want to maintain the physical contact with people as much as possible. So just throwing that out there as an idea I never would have had on my own, not having a pet right now in the house. And it was due to the fact that I have been hobbling and walking, and these people show up almost at the same time that I walk with their little puppy. And it evolved over these months. Just throwing it out there.
Maybe you could rent a dog 3 times a week and go to the dog park.
You don't need one. Dogs come up to you. They suddenly become your friend.
Funny.
You need your own dog.
You have a big bowl of water for the dogs. You bring this big bowl of water for the dogs and see how they all run and are attracted to the water.
Exactly. Just all community drinking.
That's good. Well, I remember we had somebody who had a new dog. I can't remember who it was. Somebody could probably remember it. And they would just go for a walk with their new dog and people talk to them all the time. It was pretty funny. Susan Johnson uses her Facebook, her own personal page quite a bit. She posts something every single day to build relationships with people. And she's on purpose about it. And she does, if you haven't seen it, I mean, she does some pretty amazing things to get people to interact with her. Oh boy, listen to you. Yeah, right. And then she also has this tell stories. So the story part of Facebook is like a one-day thing. So you tell a story and it goes away. And then you tell a story the next day and it goes away. So it's something that people can comment on, and that helps create awareness about who you are, what you're doing, and things like that. And so she's building herself as I don't want to build herself, but she's uses a lot of motivational quotes and things like that on her story page. So every day you see a new one. And even though you don't see Susan, you get a feel for who this person is. And so people usually will like it or they'll love it. And now she can respond to them. I don't know how much of that you're doing, Sue. Tell us how that's working out.
I'm not doing enough there, but it is on my to-dos with the follow-up box that we have on my daily method of operations. But it's a gold mine, John. I mean, for some reason, Facebook has seemed to reel it back a bit. I used to get anywhere from 60 to 80, 90 hits on each one. Now it's more like anywhere from 30 to 60, the odd 70 I'm seeing again. But you're going to see names that you don't know people of that are very regular popping up. And I'm like, who's that, I wonder? So when I'm reaching out with my Are You Open, kind of one of the boxes that I have on my list, that's where I need to start. Even if I'm just going to say, hey, are you open to taking a look at what we're doing over on Thriving 360? But it's a gold mine that, ironically, I'm done my other stuff for the day. So now it's concentrate on this. And while driving home, I was thinking that is what I'm going to be tackling today. So depending on my schedule Friday, I'll see if I have an update for you on Friday, how that goes.
Does everybody know what it looks like on Facebook, what the story looks like? Has everybody seen it? Can you show it?
I can kind of pull it up. I bet you
Can you do it on your computer?
I can. And I just opened up Facebook while Kedzie was talking, actually. So let me just see where I'm at with my Facebook. Give me 2 seconds here. Close that. All righty. Let me just share screen. Go back to here. And
look where Dorje is driving today. It's going to be
look at that.
Good too, doesn't she?
2 more months, it'll be all white.
All right, so this is my share screen. I'm going to take us over to me. So we want to go to my home page. These are the stories up here, and you'll see my story comes first, and then other people that are pretty much in connection with me all the time. Where did you go?
Okay, this is kind of an elementary question, excuse me, but what's the difference between a story and a regular post?
Good question.
That is a fabulous question. Posts stay in over on my newsfeed under me all the time on my page continuously. They're there forever unless I choose to delete them. The story, I'm going to click on it here. and pull up what we've done. I do 3 of these a day, morning, afternoon, and evening. So this one's going to finish, as you can see here, all the likes that went through. Now it's going to jump to the second one. And I'm wondering if I can pause it. How do I pause this? I'm not sure. Damn, that went on to the next person's. Let me take it back. But they only last for 24 hours. I'm not sure how to pause this. I think, oh, there, the pause button, guys. I'm a beautiful one. Can you see right here, it says 5 hours? That means it's been open to everybody for 5 hours. When it reaches 24, it's gone forever. If I take us back to this one, will it do that? Yes. See, it says 19 hours. So it was 19 hours ago that I posted this one. So 19 hours. And then we're going to jump ahead, and you see this one was a 5-hour one. So it's now time for me to put another one on this afternoon at some point. And they're just things, I do it from my phone because it's so much easier to do. And I'll post another one that'll be up there for, let's say if I post it now, then at 2:40 tomorrow, it'll be gone. Literally stays for 24 hours. That is the difference. Why I do these stories so go ahead.
So I guess the question is, what's the kind of purpose of story?
A good question. The reason I do it is it keeps me in front of people. My friends, good close friends of mine, have all said, why is it every time I open up Facebook, you are the first thing I see? I said, well, because I'm beautiful. And isn't it a blessing?
And I know she does say that too.
I do. You should have heard me on the drive I just did. Hilarious. I had the guy in stitches, bless my heart. Oh man. Anyway, so yes, it keeps me in front of people. So the people that all like all this, it's easier to go through the stories and like them.
Can you show the next one, Sue, so people can see what one looks like that's not you?
Yep. So this is my friend Candace. 3 hours ago, she put this up here. I might say, I paused it by liking it, but I want to send her some love. It'll send to her. It's moving on to the next one. Let's see, this one here. Okay, we're going to pause. My friend Karen, she posted one earlier that I would have looked at. That's why we're not seeing this. That's why we started here. So we're showing what this one is 2 hours ago. I like the stuff she posts here. So if I send her some love as well, she's going to get some love. So I keep myself connected with these people. And what I try to do is find 5 of these stories a day that I could make a comment on. So it opens a conversation. And when I comment on this by hitting the reply down here, it then goes into instant messenger. So the Facebook chat, and we may have a conversation with people. I know this morning I had a conversation, a gentleman who did something on my the story I did this morning, and I checked out his profile. He was into health and wellness. So I reached out to him and said, hey, thanks for liking my story. You know, I see you're into health and wellness. Are you working from home? Another one was on vacation. Hey, I wish I was on vacation. Where is it you're at? So just opened up conversations leading to my question of, are you open? So it's just another relationship building spot that's really fast and really easy once you know what you're doing, which is real simple.
Is that what the purpose of it was on Facebook, that they opened it? I mean, that just like, it's
why Facebook chose to do it? No
tool.
idea, but this is how we're using it.
Got it.
There were other social media platforms that were doing stories that would only last for a period of time. And one of those, was it, I don't know if Facebook was first or Instagram.
I think Facebook came before Instagram.
And then Facebook bought Instagram. I believe they own it. So it's they probably got it from there.
Yeah.
But it is.
Really quick question. When I make a comment, it goes into Messenger. Is that where it's supposed to go to people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it goes to Messenger. I don't know if you guys, how much you've seen on this one. So let me just stop sharing screen here for a second. Okay, I much prefer to do this activity on my phone. See, that's at the top of the news feed. Number one, I get to see my pretty face first. Just kidding. But then you see my story. Don't shake your head, John. You're adorable. My stories first, and then all the other stories go through them. And in order to get into them, I would just click on that one, and it's going to show me it. And it's going to run the time frame just like it did at the top. So this person, you see all those broken white lines? I know they've got 4 stories up because there's 4 lines. This one is just one, so it's going to go through. And I can make comments at the bottom. This bit scrolls out if I want to use the emojis there. And if I want to comment on these, let me just go. And you can go through them faster by clicking the side to see what they are. So really, really helpful, I find.
Sue Gromberg?
Definitely.
Yeah, Sue, did you say earlier, or did I imagine it, or is this just a question? When you create a story and it goes on there, it goes away after 24 hours, is there a way to save the story you created so that if you wanted to use it a couple of months later, it's there? Or do you have to recreate a story every
Nope,
time?
you can recreate it again. If you go into Facebook, let me share screen again. Share. So I'm going to go back to me. Where's me? Okay, take me out of here. Close. Love my internet. It's not the fastest. Alrighty. So we need to go over to me. So I'm going to take us to my page sometime this century. Alrighty. And archive right here. So you'd all have your own bits and bobs up here, but we've got archive. And if we go into the archives, here's the stories where you find them, Sue and everybody else. So you get the date, October 4, how many hits were on it, how many, that's an I, so how many people saw it. And I can go back, and remember I'm doing about 3 a day, or two, at least 2 to 3 a day. So we can see 21, 21, 21, 20, 20, 19, 19, 18, 18, 17, 17, 17. I think you're getting the gist. I can go back on any of these. Come on, catch me up, laptop, right?
So then, do they automatically go into your archive, or do you have to ask to save that?
All automatic. So after your 24 hours, and actually you'll get notifications to say, you know, I had it this morning, John Williams saw your story, you can view it in the archive. So I knew it had crossed over that 24 hours. And it just automatically ends up going here. So we'll scroll me up to the top. So yesterday I had this one. Sometimes you can't quite see it all. Like, what are all the words? If you click on it, it'll bring you up. And we can see all the views, and I can see, thank you for liking it, by the way. Laura, all these people that did it. Tracy gave it some sugar love. Look at that. And then these are all the people that had touched base on it. So I don't have to worry about keeping a record of it because Facebook does it for me. Now, these stories you can do almost anything on. I choose to go for the motivational stuff just because A, it's easy and simple. So where do I find them? When I'm scrolling through my news feed, I see what someone else posted and went, that's kind of nice, saved to phone. So I save it to my phone, and I have a little file called inspiration. It's where I stick all these things, and I decide which one I want to do for that day. So we're looking at some of my archive things here right now. I try to do it at the end of days at night, even though the next day it won't be, but they'll see it was posted at night. Gotta love Snoopy. And again, see 67 views. We can see everybody who viewed it. Becky replied in Messenger. So we may have had a conversation about something. But yeah, so people would comment on them as well. So those people, of course, I want to be getting back to. Adorable how it's making those go big. Let's just pause on this one. Thank you, John. Oh, see, this is the one this morning, I believe. So 47 minutes ago. And it was from the yesterday. So any other questions?
Do you schedule ahead? Like if you had a day you couldn't be available?
No, these don't schedule. Which is why I do it from my phone, because my phones are with me all the time, and easy to do. So as I say, if we go into my gallery, things are saved. If I save it from Facebook, it ends up going into I don't know if you can see that. Let me stop sharing again. It ends up going into a Facebook file on my phone. So what I do is whatever ones I want, I would then highlight and move to, where am I got here? Inspiration, my inspiration file. So then all these stories in here, I have hundreds of them I've saved. Well, 100. And I just pick and choose. But what I want to do, and I know John and I have been talking a little bit about it, is I need to come a bit more away from that. But that's really easy and simple and done so fast. So it's always my great backup, but I do need to start maybe putting more of like me. You could do lives on it. For example, I'm out walking. Look how beautiful it is out here today. I think, John, what is the time frame? It's only like 20 seconds or something, each little
It might
line.
be 30,
There was
it might be
4
30
lines on that
the
one.
video. So here's the thing,
Yeah.
what she's doing with all the motivational stuff that she's doing. I mean, I read every single one of them, and I know that there are similar, people will comment on them or like them every day. And so if she intersperse once in a while something with her, those two things are going to come together. And every time they see Sue, it's going to tie into being a motivational type of person. And then you saw the list of people that I was at the top of on that last one. Lots of people continually do it every day. So I follow people every day when I go through, and I click on the same ones because they're starting to interest me, the things that they're doing and saying. And so it's a pretty interesting way to connect. Yeah.
And because John's clicking on me, I'm going to be one of the first stories he sees all the time because I've become popular to him. Surprise. And the other thing you want to do is really 3 or 4 a day, more than that. And there's some people I see on here, they have so many stories. They're like almost dots across the top. I don't have time for that. Nobody has time for that. So I don't recommend doing lots. 3 is good. So you're not constantly in front of people because that would become annoying, and I don't want to become annoying.
And 1 is fine.
Like that,
1 is fine. You don't even have to do 2 or 3. 1 is good. So,
yep. And there are times I think, oh my gosh, I don't have a story yet. My 24-hour window's done and I haven't posted anything this morning. I need to get on that. Straight over to my gallery, find my inspiration file, pick the one I want, hit the share button. Where do I want to share it? Facebook story. And then and you can edit it there as well. You can add a heart, you can add words, and then you just share. Done. I'm back in your face. I literally think in my head, I'm back in their face.
I have a niece who posts almost every day, and it's usually a picture of herself. And I wouldn't see her. I haven't seen her in years. I wouldn't be seeing her if I wasn't seeing her every day. And it's just so great to just see her and hit a few hearts and then make a comment here and there. It's kind of like the quickest phone call you could ever do.
That's
faster than a text.
And if she would have posted that on her news feed, you may not see it because it's not up in front and center for 24 hours. That's a big difference because it could just go like down in your notifications. But if it's in the story part and you're connected, likely you're going to see that story, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What's that?
The stories literally are the first thing that pop up when you turn your news feed on. It goes straight to the stories.
Yeah.
I've seen them, but
Then
I've
into,
never
like,
paid attention.
Yeah.
Didn't figure out what they were about, where they came from. I would go to something else. How much time would you say that you spend on Facebook or social media a day? Sue?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I would have said hours, but you can actually go on your devices and it tells you how long you were on. And I was gobsmacked that it was like, and I have both of them open and the laptop open. So the laptop might have told me, 2 hours and 15 minutes. This said 2 hours and 45, and this said 3 hours and 15. I'm like, no way. It must have been more than that. I mean, I'm on it from about 10, 15 minutes out of bed, checking my stuff, checking this. And I mean, right now it's open. So it's technically logging me on as time. Quite a bit. Everything, anytime I have a chance or the phone goes beep, I check it. If there's a red button that a notification that pops up, like right now I have 6 notifications. I'm going to hit that notification button and check what's out there because I want to be on top of what's happening in everybody's lives that's important to me, that's around me. So,
watch the movie Social Dilemma, and I think she's actually in that movie, at least.
John, I did watch that, and I feel sometimes with what we do, we're the 3 guys behind the computer.
I don't know.
That's what our job is.
It's a pretty
That
good
just
movie.
made me laugh.
It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
I think on Friday, though, I really have a good topic for Friday. Hey, Dorothy, you looking good. Did you see that? Had her mask on.
The
on
mask.
Friday, I think Stu is going to explain to us where all this self-confidence comes from. That's what I wanted to see. Where did your parents did something
Well,
right
it
with you?
certainly wasn't the hospital I was at this morning. They had the worst mirror. I'm there going, I can't even stand here. I looked this wide and I'm looking good these days.
Ay, ay,
Man.
ay. So anyway, hey, this is a really good day. I thought. I think we had a lot of good stuff. Post a story. Just go do one. See how it works. Get a picture. Just
I
post a
learned
picture.
something new today, really
Yeah.
big. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a great one. We'll see you on Friday.
Right.
There she is. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.